Welcome to the first ever episode of the Bulldog Blitz. My name is Andrew Simonson. Let's get straight into last week's action with a recap. Samford's women's golf team started their season off Monday and Tuesday with the Hoover Invite at Herdmont Golf and Country Club. UAB played host to the event, which featured 11 teams in all, and had to be moved earlier this week from the Hoover Country Club, which experienced rain from last week's flood. Samford brought a team made up of 5 players, along with 3 individuals. Samford's Bailey Dunstan shot a first round 72 to tie for second and would later take the lead in the second round later that day with a 69 as the Bulldogs shot up from 7th to 4th with improvements from all 5 players in the second round. Allison Dusek and Mary Kate Horton sat in the top 25. After the final round, Dunstan finished tied for 5th and Samford finished 6th, with Florida Atlantic's Letiza Bagnoli leading her team to victory. The Samford women's soccer team concluded its non-conference schedule last Thursday with a loss to Texas at Mike A. Myers Stadium and Soccer Field in Texas. Defender Kylie Gaza scored a quick goal in the 4th minute with a rebound off senior Alyssa Frazier's free kick. Despite their strong performance on both sides of the ball, the Bulldogs fell to the Longhorns in a 2-1 double overtime heartbreaker. The Samford volleyball team opens conference play this weekend versus Wofford in the Pete Hanna Center. The Bulldogs come in with a 1-10 record following a tough non-conference schedule that included 4 Power 5 opponents. Samford coach Kaylor Chen said, "This was a tough test for us, and you can't say it's a test if you know you're going to pass every time," end quote. The Chen and the Bulldogs hope that the degree of difficulty will lead to better preparation for SoCon play this weekend. The Samford Athletic Department recently finished an effort to renovate Bashinsky Press Tower. This project turns Bashinsky into a state-of-the-art facility that will benefit the game day experience for fans, media, and coaches alike. We met up with Hal Langston to tell us more about the goals of this new renovation.
We now have a first-class ESPN capability. We have a replay booth. Game day at Cybert Stadium has changed a little bit.
It has.
So we're excited about it.
It's the new facility yourself this Saturday when Samford football takes on ETSU. Liam Welch and Chris Edmonds were named preseason All-Americans for the FCS. Through 3 games, both players have lived up to the hype, with Welch throwing for just under 1,000 passing yards with a passer rating of 130. Edmonds has snagged 2 interceptions and a sack through the first games. Both players will be in action when the Bulldogs take on ETSU on Saturday. And now turning to the digital scene, Samford Gamers Esports finished out preseason play last week as they prepare to start their second season. On Thursday, the Overwatch team lost 3-0 in both of their matches against Howard Community College and Rogers State University, with 3 players making their debut. But the big story in the program is the Rocket League team's fast start, winning 2 matches in Week 1 of preseason before going 1-2 in Week 2 without one of their top players, Bray Lewis. The Valorant team also played their first ever match this week against Johnson & Wales Yellow in Week 1 of NECC Navigators East Division play, winning 2-0. Looking ahead to the weekend, as SoCon football play continues, the Samford Bulldogs will play the ETSU Buccaneers at home following a 2-game road trip. Haley Sue Harbison spoke with some players about what fans can expect.
With a record short turnaround, the Samford football team will be rematching East Tennessee State University only 7 months since the teams played at the Buccaneers home field, where the Bulldogs were overtaken in the second half, losing 17-24.
Just not hurting ourselves. And with us doing that, I mean, we still came back and only lost by a touchdown. So that just shows, I mean, we got the fight in us, but if we do it at the beginning of the game and not have any, penalties, it definitely could have been different.
With months of practice and tactful meetings preparing for the fall season, the Bulldogs are ready to showcase their growth to the Bucks.
I've just been working every single day, just small improvements. Focusing through film, seeing what you did wrong, seeing what you did right. It's just taking one little thing and improving upon it every single day.
For ETSU, I mean, we take game by game, We're not, we don't really worry about what they do, we just worry about what we do. As long as everybody do their job, we'll be ready for when the time comes, to be honest with you. We just stick to our script, do what we got to do, and everything will play out, for sure.
The strong bond between the team and its leadership mirrors the high morale lifting up the Bulldogs as well.
We were in our leadership group a few weeks ago, and Luke told us it was his personal goal for me to win the Walter Payton, and I just felt so honored at the fact that it was his goal for me to win an award, and I'm just thankful for that, having guys around me.
With new motivation and a clear goal, the Bulldogs are eager to rematch the team this Saturday, September 25th, during Samford's Family Weekend at the newly renovated Seibert Stadium.
It was pretty cool. I'll give ETSU some props first, since they just beat Vanderbilt, which is a huge win for them and a huge win for the SoCon. So that gives us, some motivation. Like, if we can beat ETSU, like, we're going to be able to beat a SEC school. But we know that we're the better team. We knew that last year too. So it's just about going out there and showing the world that we can.
From Samford University, this is Haley Sue Harbison with the Bulldog Blitz.
Alabama Public Health has started a program called Kick COVID-19. This program involves giving COVID vaccines at football games in participating universities in Alabama. Participants will receive a $75 gift card to their school's bookstore. Samford will be participating in the program during the game on September 25th. Sites open 3 hours prior to kickoff and 1 hour post-game. The Samford cross-country team started its season on Friday in Huntsville. Here is Nikolai Kulp with how the Bulldogs performed on Friday and a preview for the rest of the season.
The Samford cross-country team started its season Friday in the Division I Regional Preview UNA Showcase. The Samford women's team finished 5th out of 21 schools in the 5K event, beating SEC schools Georgia, Mississippi State, and Tennessee, and also beat a conference rival, ETSU. Mackenzie Hogue led the women's team, finishing 15th out of 171 runners with a time of 17 minutes and 19 seconds.
The team did awesome. I'm super proud of the work that we've put in prior, and it's beginning to show.
In the men's 8K race, Samford finished 9th out of 17 schools. Benjamin Garner led the men's team, finishing 15th out of 169 runners with a time of 24 minutes and 55 seconds.
Felt pretty good. We don't really think too much into openers, or we try not to, just because it's kind of just like knocking the rust off, getting back into it.
Looking ahead to the rest of the season, Samford was picked to finish tied for 2nd in the preseason Southern Conference poll. The men's team was projected to finish 4th. Junior runner Jeb Jones thinks the men's team can compete for 2nd in conference.
Looking into the conference race, we should be battling for at least 2nd, but at worst 3rd.
Coach Chad Ballio is also optimistic about the cross-country team's season.
We're always talking about being top 2 program in the conference in cross-country season.
Furman was 1st in both the men's and women's Southern Conference preseason poll. They have won the last 8 Southern Conference championships. Graduate student Allison Nelson thinks Furman will be tough to beat, but thinks the Samford team can compete against them.
Furman's a tough one to beat, but I think we're good enough to race against them. We have a lot more to work in the season, but if we continue to train and race together like we started out, I think it's going to be really great.
Senior Mary Kellison Thorne also thinks it will be a challenge to beat Furman.
It's going to be very difficult to beat them. We just got to take it day by day, week by week, as we get closer and closer to conference, and just keep trying our hardest to put it out there every time we race.
The Samford cross-country team competes in Fairburn, Georgia on October 2nd. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Nikolai Kulp.
Now let's preview this next weekend's action, starting tomorrow, where Samford is dedicating the soccer field to Coach Yelton's late wife, Shauna, who has been the heart behind the program for several years now. The field will now officially be renamed Shauna Yelton Field and will continue to honor her legacy for many years to come. The Samford women's tennis team is also playing this weekend in their home opener with the first 2 round-robin tournaments at the Samford Tennis Center. The Bulldogs are coming off the season-opening Warhawk Invite Tournament at Louisiana Monroe 2 weeks ago. The Samford women's volleyball team will compete in a family weekend doubleheader this upcoming weekend, playing Wofford tomorrow and the Citadel on Saturday. Both games will be held at the Pete Hanna Center right here on campus. So bring your families and come out and support our Bulldogs as they look to get some wins under their belt on their home court. The Samford men's golf team is traveling to Gadsden, Alabama next Monday and Tuesday as UAB hosts the GMAC Invitational. The players are looking to bounce back from finishing 14th out of 16 teams at the EKU Invitational in Richmond, Kentucky on Labor Day weekend. Finally, this upcoming Saturday, a Samford legend will be recognized for his achievements.
On Saturday, Samford University will honor the late great Bobby Bowden by naming the field at Seibert Stadium Bobby Bowden Field. Bowden, whose name is synonymous with college football, will be honored this week at the place where his football journey first began. His son Terry went into further detail about what Samford meant to his dad and the entire Bowden family.
It's kind of where all this Bowden football started, what makes that, I think, a huge part of his life is he's built his life on his spirituality and his faith and football, and not just football. And so Samford was a great place for him to kind of develop that system and that feelings. And so it's always been important to us.
Bowden is one of the most accomplished coaches in the history of college football, with 377 wins and 2 national championships to his resume.
I think it's beyond football, and as the years have progressed and you see the impact that he had on so many student athletes and so many people that came through this program, and again, not as a football coach, but as a mentor, as a father figure, as just an ambassador for this university.
But he'd tell you that his greater calling was off the field.
I think obviously the fact that he was willing to publicly witness and testify his faith in Jesus Christ, where not many people do that. He wasn't a dogmatic. He didn't ram it down anybody's throat. He didn't make his players go to church, but he clearly let everyone know that his faith was a central part of his life. And I think the one thing that he was able to do his entire lifetime of coaching, he never varied from that. Every stop along the way, his faith was clearly the most important thing in his life, and he shared that wherever he was.
A touching gesture for such a great man and a great ambassador for Samford, who left a mark on many lives. A special thanks to Coach Terry Bowden for making an appearance in today's show. That's all for today's show. For the rest of my crew, I'm Andrew Simonson, and we'll see you next week on the Bulldog Blitz.